and Shoyo James.
This is gonna be good. Like, dude, it's
There's gonna be swords. You've been waiting for this one.
It's gonna be father like great times 10 whatever.
It's like a couple of thousand years you gotta do that for.
I'm sorry.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna get them confused. They're both blue hair anime. What am I gonna?
One's blue, one's black.
That's so annoying. James normally uses the white Chrom anyway. So why is he doing? Maybe he's doing that to confuse Mr. E.
Nah, I think this is just preference with this one. It's gonna be interesting.
I don't really mean that.
I'm just saying, man.
It's game one.
On Battlefield. And we'll see what happens from this, because right now it's just sort of a juggle fest for Mr. E. And if E plays his game the way that he wants to, it's going to be very difficult for James to return to the stage. So as long as James keeps his boots glued to the ground, I think this is going to be a pretty even fight, all things considered.
Oh, for sure. I mean, these are two different characters, you know, as far as, like, you know, their relation and their, you know, relative playstyle goes, but they are quite different in, like, is that forward smash is going to be able to take the stock. But they are quite different in what they do. You know, Chrom is just all about that raw power, and Marth is all about finesse. I think I already said it earlier, and now you're going to see how those two things clash with one another, and they're both going to do things, I think, slightly better than the other one does in certain situations. Like, I think Chrom is definitely going to, definitely going to be better at comboing and just juggling the hell out of this Marth right now and getting that raw damage, but when Chrom is off stage, you're going to be seeing Mr. E doing just about everything he can in order to try and gimp this Chrom, get him off without a jump, so like his amazing vertical recovery won't be as good horizontally, I suppose. And you know, Marth, of course, he's had it for years. He has a counter. If he's got just Chrom in a bad space, he's gonna get stuck between a rock and a Marth place, which is not where Chrom wants to be. See right there,
just like that, it's gonna make it happen. Staying at 103% though, I think one of the biggest aspects of this is that he's going to have to figure out how to play around shield a bit differently from the air, because we've seen on multiple occasions that his shield breakers get called out and he gets blown up for it in the punish. Obviously, if he's in the air, he can't punish these shields with grabs, so he's got to figure out what moves is he going to use to threaten shield. At what spacings is he going to try and box around them? Because playing at tipper range isn't necessarily the safest in some instances with Marth, just based off of how well he's going to be able to punish. Dash attack from out high, though. It's going to end up being...
I think that might have been a running F tilt again. It's so hard to tell.
That was dash attack.
That was dash attack? Okay, never mind. I'm just dumb. Anyway, James. Up full, a whole stock against Mr. E right now. He was able to take that stock with the dash attack. Good stuff to James for being able to do so. And he's already got a pretty fair amount of damage tacked on Mr. E right now. And just, he's been getting those parries on the platform so consistently whenever anyone tries to hit him from below them, because he knows that that's just going to put Chrom in such a bad position, like above Marth, to just be able to juggle him. And so he knows that the best way to get around that, or at least with this game's particular mechanics, is to parry that. You saw him do it several times against Jackal, and you're probably going to see him do it multiple times against Mr. E right here, looking so poised. Really, Shoyo James up a full stock, still not able to lose his second stock right here at 140.
James beelines it to the ledge as soon as he gets sent off by E. He doesn't even give you the opportunity to edge guard him. But yeah, he doesn't even attempt to go for Aether. He's making sure that if he's off stage, it's not for long. But forward smash from center stage is going to give James the first game. Yeah, Shoyo James really saying that he thinks Mr. E is stupid and that he is just ain't even going to give him the chance. He's trying. He's trying, yeah. Yeah. Memes. Try for game 2. All the best. Memes, ladies and gentlemen. Shoyo James up a full game against Mr. E right now. Pretty solidly taking that first one, to say the least. It was pretty convincing. Game 2 is bringing us back to Battlefield. How do you feel about the run back here? Well, if Mr. E is going to be able to adjust his game plan, I think he is just as, not the word efficient. I think he is, you know, arguably just as good at juggling as Chrom is. Chrom, of course, probably a little better because, you know, he does that base damage across his entire sword, that strong base damage, whereas Marth, you know, of course, he wants to get the tipper to be able to get that full raw damage, but even so, if he doesn't get the tipper, like, most of the base of his sword is going to be, the hilt of his sword is going to be weaker, so Marth is still pretty effective at getting those juggles on this stage as well. Like I said, both these characters are very different, but on this stage, I feel like they accomplish, you know, relatively similar things. So, I think this stage is actually really good for both of these opponents right now, and it actually,
It's not the biggest, but it's among the biggest of the legal stages. Is that forward smash takes the stock blast zone wise, at the very least. So. In terms of like Chrom's raw kill power, I feel like Marth is going to be living just a little longer than he does on some other stages, unless he gets hit off stage without his jump right there. So I still do like this pick. I feel like Marth is going to be able to accomplish a lot of the same things that Chrom wants to do to him. I feel like, you know, Mr. E's game plan, although it didn't work too well in that game, perhaps he didn't pick on to as many of James's habits as he should have in just that first game right there. I feel like he's still going to want to, I feel like his game plan, his raw game plan going into this still should work if he plays it efficiently. But James, like I said, just doing the same thing with what I personally believe is probably a better character than Marth, at the very least at this stage in the meta. I would still put my money on James to be able to win this if they're both going for that same juggling game plan right now, because at the very least, Chrom also has that raw kill power. So I don't know how much in terms of stage counter picks Mr. E can really do. He doesn't want to go to a small stage, of course, because then Chrom's going to kill way earlier. And a bigger stage, I feel like, you know, and on a bigger stage, I feel like the juggling is not going to really matter as much. And I feel like I feel like Marth might need that a little bit more than Chrom, like I said, at this early stage in the meta. So really, I still like this pick. I feel like Mr. E is still going to be able to get his game plan up and running. But so far, I might say that, but it's not working out too well for him, as he's already looking pretty poised to lose his next stock right here. If Shoyo James is able to land a jab or just a parry to an F tilt or something. Just saying anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, wow. James has been doing a great job just snowballing a lot of the momentum over E. And I feel like E's losing it on these ledge interactions. He's not able to come off the ledge easily. He's taking a ton of damage in doing so. But also, he's not really getting much off of when he presses Chrom to the ledge. And we are going to see the Lucina pick come out from E. We'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, saying I need some raw kill power too. Basically does Lucina, of course, basically doing the same thing her father does, but just not as strong because that falchion is just a little bit stronger. It is a different sword technically, right? I don't know anything about Fire Emblem lore, but it is a, I think it is a different one.
These two wield the parallel falchion.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Martha is the falchion.
Oh, never mind. I meant between the two of them. Never mind. That's the same sword. Okay, so
Yeah,
forget it.
They hold the same sword.
Forget it. But yeah, Lucina essentially doing the same thing Chrom does in that regard, and that there is no tipper, and she gets raw power off between the hilt of the sword. But the difference is that, you know, Lucina, of course, is an echo fighter of Marth, and Chrom, of course, the echo fighter of Roy, you know, so his moveset is just a little bit differently. Roy fights a little bit quicker on the ground. He's not so much about finesse, more so he is about, you know, just raw power and getting that damage off the hilt of the sword. But the thing that makes Chrom a better character, of course, is that he gets that damage across all little lengths of the sword. So again, it's another situation of anything you can do, I can do better, basically. Mr. E just playing a slightly worse version of that, at the very least in that regard. But it doesn't matter. He still has those counters. He's still able to catch that recovery very well if he is able to get Shoyo James in that position. But James is going to be able to answer right back with a forward smash of his own.
I think he just needs to figure out like where to space himself so that he doesn't have to worry about James swinging, because as smart of a player as James is, sometimes he really does just need to press the buttons.
Yeah,
and it'll work.
All the buttons. He's definitely a button presser for sure, as he tries to prove that Chrom is that kind of character, especially if you're pressing the buttons where you know your character is going to be. That's one of the things that makes Chrom like a different type of, like, quote unquote, you know, I don't like to use this term on commentary, masher, if you would, because you see characters like Mario with such amazing frame data, and Mario mashes in your face, and it's okay for him to do that because it lets him get away with it. Chrom can't exactly mash in your face. He instead mashes where you're going to be, and that's what makes it so good for him, and that's what makes it going to work, because like with a long sword, he's going to be able to cover so many more of those options. But Mr. E apparently covering more options, already up a full stock against James right now. James already down to his last one.
The Lucina pick, it's starting to slowly work out for E. And at the very least, it seems like he's taking a different approach to what he's trying to get done at the ledge. A lot of this battle being taken part at the ledge. For one, he's not going near James. He's not really approaching. Which I mentioned this earlier, where if you're forcing a sword character to approach, even though they do have the approach options, you're leaving them a lot more vulnerable to punish. Whereas if James is just able to bunker down, he's going to have all the time in the world to respond with forward tilt, jab, up tilt, what have you. And we've seen against a plethora of enemies that have fought James, they just run into the sword.
Yeah, and like you mentioned it before, like of him not approaching, I mean, you know, that's sort of bread and butter smash right there, is that if you are in the lead, both in terms of stock...
Yo, he really did the thing to him.
He says it, man. I mean, does he ever talk to James? He says, I gotta do it at least once. regardless of how good my opponent is, I'll find some way to make it work. And he just goes ahead and does it. I'm mad he got that.
He did it.
He did it.
Went into him.
And the last leg of New York here at this Jersey Monthly right here, unfortunately gone. So rip Mr. E, press F, pay your respects for your boy at a incredibly respectable third place at this very, very stacked Forge Monthly. Rip Hangman, you know, as well. You know, just.
Hangman. He fought well.
Hangman, not Heyman. It's Hangman.
Listen, he played a fine game.
Oh, yeah.
James just beat him out on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually means we're going to be able to see the run back.
Exactly.
From earlier. With Wishes and James
Used
for
to be
our
grand finals of every single monthly and regional that we had around